What if I told you that right now, when most buyers are sitting on the sidelines, it might actually be the best time to buy a home that we've seen in the last 5 years? You know, I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, and I get it. Between all of the headlines about tariff wars, interest rates, and election drama, it kind of feels like the wrong time to make a move. But the truth is this: we are in a full-blown buyer's market, and savvy buyers, they are cleaning up. Inventory is way up. Sellers are nervous, and for the first time in a long time, buyers hold all of the cards. The problem, though, is that most buyers, most people, they're completely paralyzed by fear. They're hesitating, they're waiting, and they're second guessing. And while they're doing that, some very quiet and very strategic buyers are locking in some killer deals. Deals without competition, without bidding wars, and without overpaying. So, imagine this. You walk into a home that's been sitting for 45 days. The seller's already dropped their price twice. It's vacant. And you've got a clean offer, a flexible closing date, and your financing is already all lined up. Now, in this market, that is a recipe for instant leverage. But getting a deal is just one thing, right? Getting a killer deal, that's the kind of thing that is going to save you tens of thousands of dollars. And it's going to give you better terms, and it's going to set you up for long-term wealth. And all of that, it takes strategy. And so that's exactly what we're going to get into in this video. I'm going to walk you through 5 insider secrets to help you win big time in this market that's already stacked in your favor. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to spot the best deals, how to time your offer, and how to negotiate like a pro without all of the guesswork, without the stress, or second guessing yourself. And if you're a first-time buyer, make sure that you check out my No BS first-time home buyer masterclass. This thing is literally your landlord's worst nightmare, and it's going to show you how to buy your first home without getting screwed. Okay, so I'll put a link in the description box below, and you can go ahead and check that out after this video. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Number 1 is you don't just look for listings. You look for signals, okay? In markets like this, buyers have options, and they have tons of them. But not every listing is a good opportunity. And the real leverage, it's going to be hidden in the details. You're not just looking for, a nice kitchen, a good location. You're actually looking for soft signals, okay? Signs that the seller is under pressure. So here are a few things to watch out for. Number 1, listings that have been sitting on the market for 30 days or more. That's always a good sign. 2, multiple price drops, especially recent price drops. And 3, vacant properties or properties that have been stripped out of their staging. So for example, if you saw a property online and it was all staged really nicely, and then you go view them and there's no staging anymore, it's just a vacant property, that's a good sign, all right? Oh, and don't forget phrases like motivated seller or quick possession available or bring your offer. Things like that are signs. Now, while these homes don't scream deal, they quietly invite one. When a property has been sitting for a while, the seller is far more likely to consider offers below asking price, especially when no one else has come knocking. And sellers, by the way, if this sounds like you're listing, this is a red flag, and it's not too late to pivot, all right? But what you need to do is you need to rethink your pricing or your presentation before buyers are going to start circling around looking for a discount. Next up, you want to make sure that you ask the $1 million question, which is, why are you selling? All right. Now, this is the part that most buyers, they don't go far enough here. They just look at the price or they look at the square footage or the finishes, but they never stop to ask why the person is selling. Because if you know their why, you're going to understand how much leverage you really have. And no, you're not going to find that on the listing itself. Chances are you won't anyways. And their agent, they're not just going to hand that over to you either. And that's where you need to become a little bit of a detective. So you want to look for some clues, okay? So you want to look for some subtle signs that are going to give you some insight to the seller's situation. So for example, in a larger home, if you're in a larger home, but the primary bedroom closet only has clothing on one side of the closet, that's a sign. Or if they're in the ensuite bathroom, there's only one toothbrush in the toothbrush holder. These are signs that the sellers might be going through a marital breakdown, which equals motivation, right? Motivation to sell. Another thing might be the shelves are empty and the garage is full of moving boxes. They're all labeled for the next place. This is a very clear sign that chances are the seller has already bought their next home. Again, showing motivation. And another thing you might look for is if the home is vacant and you figure out that the owners are seniors, this is going to give you an indication that they've already moved into a retirement residence. And it's all these little details that tell you a lot more than a listing description ever will. And in situations like these, sellers are usually more motivated. They're ready to move on. They're mentally, emotionally, sometimes even physically, they've moved on. And when that's the case, they're often more open to lower prices, better terms, or getting the deal done without any sort of delay. Now, I'm not talking about, taking advantage of anyone here. I'm talking about being smart, reading the situation and writing your offer accordingly. And by the way here, if you want to see exactly how to turn that kind of motivation into a better deal, you want to check out my buyer's negotiation guide. I'll put a link in the description box below. This thing is full of tactical strategies that you can use right now when you're writing an offer. All right, now let's talk about timing, because in a market like this, you've got some breathing room, right? And that is a huge advantage. So here's how it kind of usually plays out. Most buyers on the weekend, that's when they're going to do all of their browsing. They're going to hit up a few open houses more than likely, maybe chat with a listing agent or two, and then, well, nothing happens. Sunday night rolls around and the seller, they're left wondering, where are all my offers, right? And the longer that silence lasts, the more anxious they get. And when that doubt starts to creep in, they start to ask, is our house priced too high? Or should we drop it? Or did we miss something? Well, that's your moment. That's your moment of opportunity. Because by Tuesday or Wednesday, most sellers are far more open to negotiation, especially if the weekend came and went without a single serious bite. So instead of rushing in with everyone else on a Saturday, you're going to want to wait. You want to time it right. And when your offer shows up midweek and it's clean, it's confident, and it's well prepared, it will stand out. So go ahead and do your browsing on the weekends if you want to, but negotiate midweek, because that's when it's going to count. And guys, understand that this is not about playing games. It's really more about understanding the rhythm of a seller and their psychology and striking while the timing is going to be in your favor. And let's be honest, sellers aren't just about the highest price right now, are they? In this market, what they really want is certainty. They want a clean deal, no surprises, no drama. They just want it done. So your job as a buyer, well, it's to make your offer feel like the one that the seller can't afford to ignore, the one that checks all of the boxes and makes it easy for them to say yes without hesitation. So here are a few ways that you can do that. First of all, you want to make sure that you do your homework up front, meaning review the strata documents, review all of the minutes, review the title search and the property disclosure statement before writing your offer. And then you can keep those subjects to a minimum, right? You can write the offer really tight and make the seller feel confident that those subjects will be easily removed, okay? So if you have a pre-approval letter from your lender, you want to attach that to your offer, because again, this is going to give the seller added confidence. And also let them know, if you can, be flexible on your closing dates. This is going to make things so much easier in your seller's life. Again, you want the seller to sort of look at your offer and think that this one is clean, right? This one is solid. We should jump on this right now. And this is how you're going to win deals, even when someone else might be offering a little bit more money than you are. You know, it's not about being aggressive here either. It's about being smart. It's about being smart and removing friction so that the seller feels confident in saying yes. Finally, let's talk mindset, because right now, too many buyers are sitting on the sidelines because of what they are seeing in the headlines. You know, there's this global unrest, there's political drama, economic forecasts, interest rate predictions, tariff wars, you name it, right? It's a lot. And I get it. It creates some doubt. But here's the truth that people aren't saying out loud. The market has already shifted, guys, right? They've already softened in most areas. Inventory is skyrocketing high and buyer activity is way down. This is your window of opportunity. But here's the thing. This window is not going to stay open forever. Eventually, rates will shift, right? Confidence, it will come back into the market. And when that does happen, all of those buyers who are waiting on the sidelines, they're going to come rushing back in. And when that happens, prices will tighten up and competition will return. Look, the simple truth is this, and we all know this. Headlines are designed to create fear, to drive fear, which causes the masses to freeze. And that is exactly what's happening right now. But smart buyers, they make moves based on facts. So if you're willing to look past all of the noise right now in the media and approach the market with strategy, right now you are in the driver's seat. So if you have any questions or you want some more clarity on any of this, feel free to book a call with me. We can have a chat. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.